Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome back to the Couchside Judges. I'm Scott Fontana. Follow me on Twitter at Scott_Fontana.
And I'm Dan Urban. Follow me at the Dan Urban. Follow the podcast at Couchside Judges and subscribe to us wherever you listen.
5-star review. Go do it.
And as always, we talk judging in MMA, so make sure you read the scoring criteria.
Read it carefully. Just skim it, you know?
Yeah, we're getting through that intro a lot faster than we used to.
Well, at that time, I just kind of was like, 5 stars.
Yeah.
Do it. Do it.
At this point, if they haven't done it by now, they're just never going to.
No, they will.
Okay.
They will. They're always going to come around.
Just a reminder. Do
Yeah.
it.
I don't know. I try to come up with a different way to say it every single week, and I think I've succeeded in doing so.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I may have to retire at some point, though. I think you're probably right. Maybe we should start reminding people that we have a YouTube channel.
Go on YouTube. Yeah, subscribe to us there.
Yeah, if you like our show, but you want to see a video version of it, which is not really pictures of us.
It's just a wave.
At least at this point.
It's audio wave.
If you love the audio wave thing, you're going to love this version of the Couchside Judges. It is for you. I'll tell you what's more for me than anything, though, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
The Carolina Panthers have the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Big trade they made the other day.
Big trade.
Mm-hmm. We are now a Carolina Panthers NFL draft podcast for the remaining month and a half until the draft.
Gotta go C.J. Stroud, right?
I don't know. I'm torn. I like Young, but he seems small.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, he's great in college, but at NFL size, I think you'd want that bigger guy in C.J. Stroud.
As long as it's one of those two, I don't care. I do not want Anthony Richardson. I never love when prospects shoot up the board at the combine because people forget that they actually play football and they didn't do it as well as you thought before.
You know, it's weird. It's two different games almost.
And I don't like Will Levis.
NFL.
I swear to God, if we traded up to get Will Levis, I'm picking a new team.
Really?
If they actually manage to do that, yeah.
Okay, I'm just letting you know. We got the number 1 quarterback in New York, so.
You can't hold me to that, by the way. I can do whatever the hell I want.
I got you. All right.
I can do anything I want.
I was trying to recruit you to the Giants.
No.
All right.
No, if I pick a new team, it won't be the Giants.
Okay.
It just won't.
All right. Fair enough.
Giants fans are the worst.
That's wrong. Correct to say that about that division.
It's not even the worst in the division. You're right.
But sure.
No, I'll give you that. But no one else wants to hear me talk about the Panthers. But we'll still do it every week, and we'll do it repeatedly and often and throughout the show. But now, for now, we can actually move on to bigger and better things, at least in the fighting world, and that goes no further than Merab Dvalishvili, who looked freaking fantastic in impressively 50-45ing Peter Yan.
Yeah, he was on fire.
Now, I don't make picks, right? I steered away from that for a while. If I was to have made a pick, though, I really would have felt pretty decent about Merab winning this one. And I was stunned how much of an underdog he was on the betting line.
Yeah, big dog. I mean, I after this, the big bad wolf, aura around Peter Yan has to be completely gone.
Yeah, I think it's totally done.
So
I'm not saying he's done, but I think no one's going to be looking there like, oh yeah, Peter Yan, obviously he's got to win. It's like the guy's lost 4 out of 5, and some of them are, either you want to call them questionable, fine. You want to call them close, fine. This was neither.
This wasn't close at all.
This was a really fantastic win for Merab, who, hey, at least you got to give Peter Yan this. He stopped 38 takedowns.
Who's 0?
It's not him.
Not him. Who's hungry?
I'm hungry. Every time I get hungry, I'm going to think of Merab now.
Merab is starving.
And I'll be honest, I get hungry a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm going to think of Merab all the time. The question I have, though, is this. Is he the heir apparent at 135 if Aljo goes up to 45, or, he loses the belt? Is he the next?
No, I think they want to give it to O'Malley, which I actually think is the next fight.
But at some point, I guess my point would be, who's going to be the next champion that kind of brings a little bit of balance? Because Aljo hasn't quite done that, but he can do that if he beats Cejudo here.
If he beats
at least
Cejudo,
he's got a few wins under his belt here. But who would be the next that kind of comes in and you think maybe they can sustain a title run a little bit?
Well, Merab in 5 rounds, this guy is scary.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
can fight for 10 rounds and still not be tired.
Because if you're going to put Merab against Sean O'Malley, who are you favoring in that fight?
Oh, I think Merab would just dog him completely.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he get caught, and, that's really his only shot. Puncher's chance, I would say, for
I
O'Malley.
hate to say puncher's chance because he is very skilled. And I think
that's what it is, though.
Nah, I guess
because he's not going to stop. If he has to hit him with a punch. Maybe a kick. Maybe hit him with a kick.
No, I mean, I get what you're saying.
But,
yeah.
Merab's just going to... how I'm going to say what's going to happen, he's just going to maul him.
Merab really does look like, though, if he does manage to get to the top, and he still have to do that, and of course, his little, not his little buddy, his big buddy, Aljo's a bigger man, would have to step aside to make that happen. But if when he does, he certainly has the look of somebody who's got the ability to keep this going for a while. The thing I'd always, I guess, been critical, you want to call it critical, I've been critical of with Merab is everything kind of was predicated on him getting takedowns, right? But then he wouldn't keep the fighters down. Like he'd get the takedown, and then like it would end up he'd get to mount, and then all of a sudden 3 seconds later it's like back to the feet. And this would happen repeatedly. It wasn't just like once or twice. It was like all the time. But I feel like in recent fights, we've seen him better utilize his wrestling and his takedowns as more of a neutralization process, and like especially here, just keeping Jan off balance. He just couldn't do anything. Like
Jan was shut down.
You can't find a rhythm, and it allowed Merab to do whatever he wanted otherwise too.
Yeah, he could
closed up Jan's eye. That was impressive. Like no one would have said if you were picking Merab to win, you'd be like, oh yeah, he's gonna bust up Peter Yan's face. Like what?
Yeah. At one point, Merab felt really good on the feet. Like I'm going to keep it here for a little while, and he was doing really well.
It was.
But back to your point, there was a lot of that. Get the takedown, back up.
Sure.
Up. And I said, is that really a record you want? Is that many shots taken in a single fight? Because it means they just got up or you didn't get the takedown that many times. So,
but I don't think he cares.
I don't think he cares. It's impressive that he's able to shoot that many times. It looks like he can go run a marathon right now.
I think
afterwards,
what it speaks to, I think more is that he was able to do what he wanted, which was to make him have to defend wrestling for 25 minutes. Literally he averaged a takedown attempt every 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Like, you can't get in a striking rhythm if you're defending all these takedowns. It's impossible. How would you do it?
Yeah.
So mission accomplished. And obviously some of these actually went down. So it's like, how much time is he actually spending getting comfortable? Just about none.
Jan got shut down.
Yeah, it was impressive. But yeah, he definitely has the look of someone who can sustain. I always give a lot of I guess favoritism to a wrestler, someone who has the ability to impose their wrestling, their takedowns upon the other guy. It just seems like they've always got the higher ceiling. And I'll say it too, like if you're like, let's say you're a striker, if you're a striker and you're just getting decisions on the come up, I don't think you're going anywhere. I don't think you're going to win anything. But if you're a wrestler on the come up and you get all the way, even up to the championship, like kind of circle, like the I guess the short list, right? If you're up there and you're still winning decisions, it's okay because you're a wrestler. It's just kind of the way it works. If you can still manage to beat these guys, that's great. Other guys like need to be finishing people. I feel like striker,
I suppose
like Israel Adesanya before he became the champion, right? He was actually getting a lot of finishes. Now he didn't finish Anderson Silva, but other than that, he had quite a bit of finishes. Much less now. That's the kind of thing I guess I'm thinking of. It gets tougher at the top. It's harder to get finishes. Wrestlers doesn't really matter. That's my basic point.
Okay.
Another guy we've got to get to is on the Bellator side, because this was the UFC. There was a Bellator card as well, and we have to talk about the champion Usman Nurmagomedov, the man who was essentially named to be a great MMA fighter.
He was. Yeah, he was.
You got a little Usman.
His father is a
got
time
a little
traveler.
Nurmagomedov. Yeah.
So
I was thinking about changing our family name to Nurmagomedov so that we don't lose.
I asked you that. I asked you what you didn't ever answer me.
Oh, what was that? I
said, what would your family's T-bow be?
Our T-bow?
Yeah.
Well, considering he beat Gleison T-bow, it doesn't really matter.
Questionably, but and then I asked you, would you lose to the Diaz brothers?
How many questions did I miss of yours?
And then I asked also, would you lose in a concession stands battle versus the Diaz brothers?
Well, the only thing I need to point out about that is the fact that Aiden Nurmagomedov did lose on Saturday.
Okay.
Saeed Nurmagomedov. So it disproved my whole point anyway.
You jinxed
so
but Saeed's not related to
No,
that,
he's
right?
not, but it's neither would I.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Okay.
So I guess the point is I actually need to get adopted
Okay.
by the Nurmagomedovs.
Okay.
Maybe Khabib's mom will take me in.
Good.
I mean,
Possibly.
I love my family, but it'd be cool to be a winner.
You
like-
are a winner. You just won the Pinewood Derby.
My son won the Pinewood Derby.
Your family.
Yeah,
So-
I guess that's true. Do you think they would win the Pinewood Derby if they entered the Nurmagomedovs?
I think if they entered it, they would go at full. What am I looking for the word? They wouldn't enter it to just have fun.
No,
They would enter it to dominate. That
That's
would be
true.
the goal. So
That's true.
they probably would win.
I want to meet the Abdul Manap of the Pinewood Derby world. That would be fun. Anyway, we're getting way off topic here. Obviously, go back to Usman Nurmagomedov.
You would have to the bearings while fighting off a grappling double leg takedown.
What?
You would have to when you have to sand down the bearing or the cylinder thing for the car.
The
You would
cylinder thing. What are you talking about?
For the Pinewood Derby
Do you mean
car.
the axles?
Yeah,
Oh.
that's it.
Okay.
You would have
What are
to
you talking
defend
about?
a double legs while doing it.
That would be challenging.
Yeah, that's how they prepare. I mean, you ever watch them play basketball?
Yes.
There's no dribbling,
It's wonderful.
and there's no fouls either.
I legitimately like their version
Yeah.
of basketball. Focus here.
Yeah,
We got to get back. Usman Nurmagomedov defending his title. Super impressive in defeating Benson Henderson in round 1. Benson Henderson is not easily finished. Only a couple people have finished him, especially with strikes. Big time win for him.
it was kind of funny.
Why is it funny?
Not
What do
that
you
Benson,
mean?
not that Benson lost. The commentary, because Benson's in a fully locked in rear naked choke, and Big John
yes.
goes, "He's okay here." Tap 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 tap. tap.
Wasn't the best look.
Uh,
No, but we call that a Joe Rogan.
it's a Rogan in the industry.
That's the form. The question I have for you here is Usman Nurmagomedov. Who's beating this guy in the Bellator lightweight Grand Prix?
Well, he's definitely probably facing either the winner of.
I believe he's facing Alexander Shablick.
No, but I mean in the finals.
Oh, okay.
He's going to be facing.
So you're assuming he gets past Shablick.
Yeah. He's going to be facing either AJ McKee or Pitbull, whoever wins that one. So
you're completely writing off the other fight.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't even know what it is.
It is Brent Primus.
Yep,
and...
writing it off.
Fair enough. We could just move on from this. So what you're saying is Usman Nurmagomedov against, it's Patricky Pitbull, right?
Right, his
Okay.
brother. But that's if it's AJ McKee who wins that, and he'll go on to the finals. It'll be McKee versus Usman Nurmagomedov, and that should be an interesting fight.
Would Usman Nurmagomedov versus Patricky Pitbull be an interesting fight for you?
Yeah, I think it'll still be interesting.
I disagree.
I think it could be interesting.
I think we'd be pretty one-sided.
Maybe he'll punch him in the
I
face.
am interested in a potential AJ McKee matchup.
AJ McKee would be interesting. He's very crazy in there.
But what if Brent Primus gets up to that point and he gets a go-go Plata? How crazy will I go?
If Brent Primus gets a go on Usman, that's sub of the year. I mean, you probably
It's always sub of the year.
you never even have to.
Every go-go Plata is sub of the year. Although I didn't give a go-go Plata sub of the year last year.
Was there one?
There was
In
in a women's fight in Brazil. I can't remember
Oh.
the names of them, but it was like in like a little gymnasium, very small, like one of those like grainy old videos, right?
Yeah, I mean,
But it was it was like no one there. No one really got excited about it because I don't think I understood what it was. I was like, "Let's go Plata. This is incredible."
you can't give one to a non-major promotion.
Yeah, I know.
So.
That was at least part of it. The award, at least from the MMA Journalists Association for the women's side, because we give out men and women, that went to the Standing Arm Triangle by Jessica Andrade. Kind of had to. That was a great one.
That was a really good one.
Anyway, Benson Henderson, though, obviously retired after this one. Sure looked like he was going to. He looked a little wistful as we were talking to Usman Nurmagomedov for a good long time.
Mm-hmm.
That one just didn't end. We just kept talking to him. It was like they knew they had a lot of airtime to fill, so like, give him the mic. Let him just read a letter he wrote to his parents when he was 10. I don't know. Retires after the fight. Not surprising either that because he didn't win here, he doesn't feel the need to finish out these remaining 2 fights on his contract. I am not surprised in the least, and I don't blame him at all.
Nah, he doesn't need to. He's done enough.
Where does he rank in the lightweight pantheon, sir?
He'll always be a lightweight great. I don't know what pantheon means, but I assume it's something along those lines.
The pantheon would refer to like the gods, right? So it's like the group of the gods.
Oh, no, you wouldn't be that high. You wouldn't be a lightweight god.
Well, when you say it here, we're not saying he's a god, but we're saying, let's say, okay, he's among the greats, right? Where does he rank among the greats? Because he's not at the BJ level for you, obviously.
He's not at BJ Penn level.
He's not at Khabib level.
Not Khabib level. He's probably on same level, maybe a tad higher than like where Dustin Poirier will end up, maybe. He's maybe.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because Poirier never really did get to the top of the mountain, even though Benson did.
Yeah, Benson. I mean, see, the thing is, I also kind of want to put Frankie higher than Benson.
Even though he lost 2 times.
Even though he lost him twice.
I know it's a tricky
weird
thing, yeah, because it's different. It's not like you're ranking them based on how they do against one another. You're kind of when I look at rankings like all time, right? And they don't mean anything, but they're fun conversations. I like these conversations. I look at like overall general accomplishments and then also skill level too. Like clear demonstration of skill level, So like someone like Khabib has less accomplishments because he didn't stick around long enough, even though he did retire undefeated as a champion, right? And he beat a bunch of good guys, but also he was so damn good at one thing that I feel like that bumps him up just a little bit more. I don't put him as my number one GOAT of all time at lightweight.
I mean, me neither.
Well, I know you don't.
Yeah, so.
But I also picked the same guy you do. I think it's BJ Penn. But yeah, I think Benson is certainly in that short list. I feel like they're somewhere in the top 5 probably. But like someone like Takanori Gomi has to get some recognition there too.
Right, yeah, but then
there's Rafael Dos Anjos and like a lot of guys. There's a lot of good guys in there, so it's kind of tricky. Yeah. It's a very tricky kind of thing.
It's tough.
But Benson really did have a fantastic run, especially from the point that he became the WEC champion to the point that he lost the belt to Pettis again the second time, the one in the UFC belt. Pettis took his belt 2 times too. And you would also there's another question because he lost to Pettis twice. Should Pettis go ahead of him, right?
That's another, yeah.
But the
thing is, I don't think I wouldn't put Pettis.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think so either. He didn't have enough sustained success either.
Has Benson always worn the black belt trunk thing?
I don't believe he always did.
But recently he's been wearing it?
I don't remember.
Yeah, because it kind of reminded me of BJ Penn.
It reminded me a lot of BJ Penn.
And then I was like, I think he's going to win because it reminded me of BJ Penn. Mm-hmm. It didn't happen.
He did what BJ Penn would do at the same age. Lose.
Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah, BJ probably should have stopped fighting a long time ago.
Which, and another thing is getting me nervous because Nick is saying he wants to fight now.
Well, only if he's going to fight like the champions at middleweight or something.
And I think he can beat them. So
you are crazy, sir. Unanimous rounds here. We have 22 out of 27 on the UFC side. Big active card, lots of decisions, but some good damn judging here.
Yeah, solid.
2 of these were 8-9 splits, so we're only talking about 3 rounds where they disagreed on the winner. That's really good. 81.5%, I should say. On the Bellator side,
so thankful they were unanimous on the first round of a heavyweight fight.
please be unanimous on every heavyweight fight. Yeah. How about can we just not score heavyweight fights? Maybe just like if it goes 15 minutes, just call it a draw and move forward.
If there's no number next to them, sure.
How about period?
Oh.
Just have a bunch of draws.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
All right,
man law. Bellator, totally different story. Well, not totally different because it was still really good judging, but very few rounds to score. They were unanimous on 11 out of 13, so 84.6%, and there were no 8-9 splits here. So overall, between those 2 cards, 33 out of 40 unanimous. That's good judging.
Yeah, that's
really
good.
Nice between California and Nevada.
Showing out.
You like to see it. Now, we do have a little bit of business we have to take care of to rectify from last week.
Yes, we do.
Dan.
Round 3 of Cameron Simon versus Mana Martinez from last week.
We made a little bit of a faux pas.
A little bit, yeah, we missed it. So we're here to correct it now.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Scott were with the outjudge in that. It was a 10-9 versus 10-8 split. We scored it 10-9 with the outjudge, Sal D'Amato. So for Mr. D'Amato,
who are the lead judges on that one? Not the lead judges,
Adelaide Bird and Chris Lee gave the 8s. Mm-hmm. Sal gave the 9. We agreed with the 9. That means couchside override.
I think we fixed our own error. I think that's the first time that we actually neglected.
We missed it. You know,
maybe
why
it's
we
not the
missed
first, but it's definitely the first time we're correcting it.
We missed it because we're usually we write couchside override, but this time we put no point taken for an eye poke.
Oh, I see. We confused ourselves.
Yeah.
We got to come up with better systems, I guess. What about the systems? Let's move on to contested rounds of this week, though. Let's get to new business, no more old business, and we'll start with the UFC side. We're actually going to do every single round. We don't always do every single round from both Bellator and UFC, but again, a lot of agreement here made it a lot easier. So, UFC side, we're going to start with a split decision that had 2 rounds split. Victor Henry getting the win over Tony Gray. You like Gravely.
It should be Gravely.
It's supposed to be Gravely.
But I had a little bit of a come to maybe accepting Gravely.
Why is that?
If he says it's Gravely because it's a really rocky, gravel-filled fight when you're in there with me, and he goes with that.
It's a gritty fight with him. Yeah,
I'm dragging you through the gravel, but only if it's for that. Otherwise, it's Gravely.
Yeah,
because it's more grave.
I would say if he is Gravely, he should be Tony. Put him in a body bag, Gravely. That should be his nickname.
Yeah, it should be.
That would be. Someone needs to have that nickname.
Put him in a body bag.
Put him in a body bag. So this fight, of course, went split decision. I believe I mentioned that. 30-27, 29-28, and 28-29. So 29-28 the other way. We got to talk about rounds 1 and 3 here, sir. Let's start with 1. What's going on?
Very close round. I thought both guys landed some good shots. I think Henry is landing a tad bit stronger, especially to the body. Gravely does get a takedown late and a body lock around the back, but really, I don't think anything came of it. Nothing as far as putting hooks in or actually, attacking a sub or anything. Just kind of held on to him as the round ended. Thought it was really close. I'm on 10-9 Henry.
I also went 10-9 Henry. Yeah, I thought the strikes were just generally more effective. I thought it was the better offense, and I felt good with that one.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's crazy to go Gravely here, but it's I like the score better for Henry here. I think it makes a little more sense to me.
Okay.
Round 3.
Who was scores for those rounds?
Oh, I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
No, it's Sal D'Amato and Eric Colon had Henry here. It was Rick Winter who was the out judge that we respectfully disagreed with.
Mm-hmm.
Round 3, though.
Wild round. This was kind of
a lot more fun. Yeah. The first round was like, it wasn't bad. This is a lot more fun. This is a wild round.
Yeah. Early in the round, Gravely finally, he's starting to land some good shots. He's finding his range. He's hitting the target a lot. Henry is still pushing the pace. He's landing a couple good shots, especially elbows against the fence. It really is just a wild round. Henry drops for a leg at some point, and he's attacking a leg lock, but he doesn't have it at all. His grips are completely just mixed up, really, and he's kind of just eating punches, mostly to the body. Gravely's like, yeah, this knee bar is not anywhere, nothing dangerous at all. I'm just going to keep punching you in the gut and in the ribs. When they scramble back to the feet, I think this is where Gravely takes it to say, hey, this was definitely my round. Gravely lands a big elbow against the fence, and really was pretty close, or very close, up until that point, I thought. And depending how you scored those subs, I didn't score them all that high. I could see how you end up on Henry, but I'm not. I'm on Gravely.
Yeah, I didn't think that the subs were quite effective enough offense. Obviously, how effective is a sub is kind of tricky because it's like, it's kind of a pass fail most of the time, right? But I just didn't think he had to defend these so much as they just weren't really there as much.
Well, it looked like Henry wasn't really sure of the grips to make for the heel hook.
But that's the thing. It doesn't matter why. It's really more about the fact that he didn't do it.
Right, yeah. But I'm saying, it's like the fact that he couldn't get the grips is something that makes me like Gravely completely disrespect it and say, I don't even have to defend this.
This is beneath me.
Let me just start punching you.
Yeah.
It was really close. I mean, Henry had some good shots as well.
Yes, he did. Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's more than just the subs.
Right. Yeah. But he had a good round on the feet, but he also was getting hit pretty often. So
yeah, I liked Gravely here too. So yeah, it was you and me. We're on the same side here with Judge D'Amato, who we basically had the same card as Judge D'Amato. So that was 29. It ends up being a 29-28 for Henry. Rick Winter also had it the same way as you and I. Eric Colon was split off in round 3, giving this one to Henry.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, Henry won this.
He was
fight,
the 30-27.
so
He gave all the rounds there.
I think Henry was the rightful winner.
I think yeah. When you look at this fight as a whole, which is not how you'd score it, but if you do look at this fight as a whole, I feel like Henry came away from this as putting together the better 15 minutes,
especially that round,
anyway.
that second round.
So yeah, it works out. Yeah, exactly. Lopsided round.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, there's a Gravely takedown in there because Gravely's all about the takedown. Yep. He just loves these takedowns, man. But yeah, so we were in the majority on both those rounds. Let's move on, though, to the next round here. We have Davy Grant, round 1 of this fight, which did not go the distance because Davy Grant is able to get a spectacular reverse triangle right near the end of round 3 of a fight he's going to lose on the cards, like almost certainly.
I'm just reading my notes of that third round. We'll do that. I'll read them
we will be talking about round 3 for another reason, but round 1 is our actual split round here, our contested round against Rafael Assunção, who retired after this fight too. Anybody who fought in the WEC just retired this weekend. It's just everyone was just like, you know what, we're done. No one is to fight past March 12th, 2023. Maybe Dominic Cruz still will. Maybe Pettis still will. Yeah. But yeah, we're losing a lot of them, man. I miss WEC. But round 1. Talk about round 1.
It's close round. I mean, not all that much is happening. I think it's kind of more of a lower output or medium output, I'd just say. I think Grant is a step behind this entire round. Very close. Good leg kicks, good right hands, some good grappling from Assunção. Grant had some moments towards the end of the round. I just don't think any of these are landing all that hard or all that flush. I think a lot of it's getting blocked. The spinning heel kick, a couple punches. I'm on Assunção 10-9 in a decently close one.
I am too. I actually thought Grant had a little bit more success earlier than later.
Okay.
It could, for the reasons you were saying. I thought Grant really just wasn't landing very flush later with a lot of that stuff. It's just kind of like not connecting with the target and really stopping Assunção from getting what he wants. But yeah, I think it's competitive enough. It makes a little bit of sense to me that it can go the other way. I did feel pretty good about Assunção getting this one though. So close enough. I'm good with my score.
All right.
We agreed with judges Mike Bell and Jacob Montalvo, and it was Sal D'Amato who was on his own with Grant.
All right.
But round 3, not a judging thing, but a refereeing thing. We have a point deduction. Grant, who's having a really good round, is deducted a point for using the fence to wind up on top in a takedown, right? Do I have that? Why don't you describe it? You have better notes.
They're kind of like in a scramble position. He kind of forced a scramble a little bit and started ending up towards the top at the end of the scramble.
Mm-hmm.
And a point, the action stopped and they take a point. Keith Peterson was the ref.
And not only take a point, but they return the fight to standing, as opposed to what sometimes happens with these type of situations. They don't return them to the positions they were at. Why?
Well, you take a point there, you're already punished. I mean, you're not gonna put a guy in a bad position, but you also can't recreate that position,
right?
To the way it had it, to the way they had it. Also, Keith Peterson saying, well, your guy was losing the position, so...
Saying this to Eric Nixon.
Yeah, because he was losing his mind. Honestly, he has so many fighters in the UFC, and he's basically, probably one of the, top 3 coaches in the sport right now.
Certainly one of the most prolific.
It just seems he's the most outspoken against officials. Almost LeBron James levels of just yelling for, a foul.
I'm picturing the image of LeBron with his arms extended off to the side, like shrieking. No, to the side, both of them this way. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, yeah. That
if you're watching the YouTube version, you might actually see that.
Here's the thing.
I'm kidding.
I get you want your fighter to have the position, but you also don't want it to be recreated. The guy was punished.
Mm-hmm.
I think the right thing to do with this situation like this, fouls when it's not like a damaging foul, like for a fence grab.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't predict how it would have ended without the fence grab. You can't predict that position, so you can't put him in that. Is take a point on the fly. Don't stop the action. Now the fighter's punished, and the natural course of the fight is still somewhat intact.
I feel like there still has to be context to those situations, too. Like, it probably isn't one size fits all.
Right, so you use the fence, and then the other fighter slips, and you end up in mount. Okay, no, that's different. Stop the fight. We're restarting on the feet. You're losing a point. But things where they're scrambling and he's going to take you down, but no, he's in on a double. You grab the fence, you stay standing, but he's still on the double. Instead of stopping the action, taking a point, say, no, I mean, this fighter's already got a double here. Just continue to fight through it.
Well, a referee can take a point on the fly.
But that's what I'm saying.
Within their power.
I'm saying that's what I think in situations like this, they should probably.
You want to see it in practice.
I would
more.
rather them say that or do that instead of, stopping the action, saying you got a point. Now let's restart standing.
It's good. It's good food for thought. I would be curious what a referee would think of that as well. Because obviously, we're a judging show, but we talk about officiating and we pass both courses. But I always feel like I'm a little less in my realm talking about officiating than I am about, or like refereeing than I am about judging.
So what I'm remembering of this is, so Peterson was saying your guy was losing the position. He was going to lose the position or something. So it wouldn't have benefited him to keep whatever he had. What I remember was a scrambly position. So it's kind of still 50-50.
Right. Obviously this whole thing casts some sort of shadow, at least in the minds of some, and almost assuredly Eric Nixick, over what happens next, because in the ensuing moments we have Rafael Assunção getting himself in real trouble and get caught in a inverted triangle. It puts him to sleep.
He was out for a long time,
this is like the least likely scenario that would have presented itself, I feel like, is Davey Grant going in there and tapping out Rafael Assunção in round 3 of all rounds. It's just, I don't know what the odds were on that, but like, man, if you told me pick away Davey Grant's going to win, I'll say, hey, I'll give you a 2. He's going to win on points or he's going to win with his hands. I would not have said submission. And if you say, okay, pick a sub, reverse triangle is not in my top 10.
Reverse triangle. That's what I was laughing at. I was like, what my notes say, you don't lose a point and then get the position back. And I said, Eric Nixick is, and I guess was writing something along the line of yelling at the referee. But in mid-sentence is when this happened. I said, Eric Nixick is, and then in all caps, holy S, reverse triangle. So I don't even know where my thought was going with Eric Nick. I just mid-thought just stopped. And that's what I wrote.
I like it. That's good. Is there correct? Help me out here, because sometimes I get mixed up with some of the holds. Is reverse triangle different than inverted triangle, or are they the same thing?
Well, so reverse.
I thought they were different.
This was probably see, sometimes you can finish a regular triangle, like squared up triangle, with the legs opposite what you're traditionally doing. So I guess you can call that a reverse triangle. I think this was more reverse, I think. No, maybe invert. I don't know. Either way, I think we all get the picture.
I'm sure there is a jiu-jitsu expert out there listening that can give us a little bit of guidance. So we'll solicit that to our listeners. But we've got to move on. We've got 2 more rounds we got to get to from UFC. Both of them are 8-9 splits. Vitor Petrino, who got the win over Anton Turkalj, 30-27 twice, and a 30-26. It's round 1 that is split. What's going on?
Yeah, a lot of hugging in this round.
I like hugs.
And clinching for the first 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Really slow-paced round. I think maybe Petrino landed a decent right before he clinched him for the next 4 minutes or so. But then, Petrino lands a couple shots, and each shot Turkalj is getting wobbled.
He's just like wiggly worm out there.
Yeah, he got smashed with probably 10 good shots. And his head's getting smashed, and then he just gets thrown to the ground by Petrino, who then eats an up kick and gets buckled by it.
He's basically out for at least I want to say 3/4 of a second.
Yeah, he was like, oh. And
yeah.
He falls into guard. He's like, all right, here we go, and he just lands a bunch of some heavy body shots.
On instinct, he's just wailing away at the body. Yeah.
I think we have some decent damage. I just don't think we have enough damage to get to the 8 on its own. So
I think he took some decent damage back too.
And he also ate some decent damage.
Yeah, I feel like any chance that had of me going for the 8 here, it's was totally gone when it's oh, that dude got real hurt.
Yeah.
It just it didn't work for me. So yeah, I went for it. I think it's still a good round for him.
Yeah, that's a solid round. That's the only way you can score.
Do you think you'd think about an 8.5 here? or the CSJ8?
I might go CSJ8. I'm not sure.
It's definitely a close one, right?
Because I do think we have damage. I just don't think we have the damage in this situation where it gets to the 8 on its own.
Yeah, it's tricky. I also saw it the same way as you did. I had the 10-9. Judges Eric Colon and Jacob Montalvo had the same as you and I. It was actually Rick Winter who had the 10-8 for Petrino. That is different from what the UFC scorecard that they share on their, on their website, on their social media, the UFC News Twitter account. That one listed Brian Miner as the third judge. That is incorrect. You can see Rick Winter cage side like the moment the fight starts. So
Winter was
that's all you need. It's verifiable very easily. So UFC just made a mistake. That is not the official scorecard. Nevada has the official scorecard, and it goes down correctly. So there's someone transcribing. I'm sure they just kind of got lost in translation as they were setting something up. So anybody who's curious about that, that's why. And I did make sure to point that out to MMA Decisions. So that
I was actually just checking that to see what they had.
They had it wrong, and I let them know because I don't think they had seen because I tweeted about it. But once they saw it, they're like, okay, cool.
Okay,
so they made the fix.
Okay.
Chris McMaster he's always on top of things, and I think he trusts me to not try and vandalize his site.
And for some reason, I can't load the site.
Oh, you can't do it if you just go to www.MMA Decisions. I've had some judges especially too, have been asking about MMA Decisions. MMA Decisions, if you just go to the website like MMADecisions.com, it doesn't work. But if you search for a fight that's at MMA Decisions and you click the link, it will work. And then you can click on the homepage and that will also work. And you can navigate the site as normal. It's very weird.
That just worked.
Right?
What is wrong?
I know he was having some hosting issues.
Okay.
I never got the word on how that kind of shook out. I've been meaning to reach out and find that out. But nonetheless, if you're having problems getting to the website, just Google a fight and MMA Decisions and you'll get there and you can navigate as normal. So hopefully that's a PSA that helps a few people.
Yeah, they fixed it. Winter's the judge.
I know they did. I know.
Okay.
I double checked. But yeah, so that was it for that fight though. We've one more round, another 8-9 split. This was in round 3 of a heavyweight fight that kicked off the main card. Carl Williams against Łukasz Brzeski, right? I'm always terrible with the Polish names. Sorry to the Polish.
But I think DC. I mean, I'm not going to go with DC's pronunciation, but they were calling
probably not the best. Yeah.
They were calling him Dreski.
Dreski.
So I don't know. Maybe.
I thought it was Brzeski.
I heard D. I heard a D.
You know what? I'm just going to assume neither of us got it right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Including DC.
Yeah, especially DC. 30-26 twice and a 30-27. So that means that we have a majority, because there's only one round, majority score of a 10-8 in round 3. Where are we at here on this one?
Well, this was a terrible fight. Any
I did say it was a heavyweight fight.
Yeah, okay. So Williams gets Brzeski down pretty quickly again. And he kind of just Brzeski, that's what it looks like.
Definitely not that one. That was wrong too.
And he kind of just lays on him. He's got a bunch of different grappling positions. I guess you could call Brzeski, getting overwhelmed in positional maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Williams is on top the whole way in good positions the whole round pretty much, and he's landing some shots. I just don't think these shots are fight ending nor that heavy. They seem more pitter-patter. I think Brzeski's more tired than anything, than he is hurt. But he does this for the entirety of the round. I understand why someone would go 8. I didn't get there. I thought it was just a 9 because I didn't really think the damage was all there. So
I'm going to make it real simple. If there is an 8-9 split and Judge Mike Bell gave the 9, you got to probably favor him here because nobody gives out the 8s like Mike. And he gave the 9 here. And I have to say, I completely agree. And as independent of that logic, of course. But yeah, this was a round that to me was just like a straight up 10-9 with an opponent who did almost nothing in return.
That's
really what it is.
There.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in theory he didn't earn the 9, but also did Williams earn the 8? I'm inclined to say no.
I mean, I think I can understand 8 more so. But
no, I get it. I mean, that's really what it is. If your answer to that is yes, then yeah, you go there. I'd say no. So It makes sense why it would be split that way. But yeah, I'm gonna go with, I like Mike Bell's his compass on the 9s and the 8s. So I'm sticking with
Also,
him here.
Adelaide was right there pretty much that
Adelaide
entire
Bird
round.
was right there.
She
That's
could.
true.
I mean, maybe these punches were heavy.
Maybe.
So who knows?
Maybe.
They did not look heavy to me.
Saldamato
But they're also
had it.
heavyweights. They're
Yeah.
also heavyweights.
That's
so.
true. That's true. It does make sense that heavyweights hit harder, just generally speaking. But yeah, so like you said, Judge Bird and Judge D'Amato had Williams at the 8, and it's round 3. It doesn't matter. They could give a 7. They could give a 10. The fight was over.
Yeah, the fight was over.
It didn't matter at all. But yeah, like, obviously you want to try and give the right score here. I do think the 9 is the score. I agreed with you. I agreed with Mike Bell. No one agreed with him cage side, at least none of the judges who were scoring. But we do. So what does that mean for Judge Bell?
Couch side override.
We'll have to do it next week. Your prize is in the mail.
This one out on time.
But that's it for the UFC. We do have 2 on the Bellator side, both on the prelims, the YouTube aired prelims. I think I like the YouTube aired prelims better than I like the ESPN aired prelims.
Also, yeah, but I mean, if you ever watch it with the comments chat room, there's nothing. If you thought MMA Twitter was bad, YouTube Bellator prelims chat room.
What is so bad about it? Is it just like a bunch of racism, or
it's
what
just
is it?
insanity.
Okay,
I
just assume it's the worst of MMA fandom.
Oh, it is.
All right. Well, we don't have to spend too much breath on that. Let's get over to the 2 rounds that we're going to talk about here. One of which was a pivotal round 3 that decided the fight between Josh Hill and Cass Bell. Split decision, 29-28 all around. 2 of them going for Josh Hill. Of course, that means he got round 3 on the scorecards, but let's talk about this round. Where did we end up seeing it?
Yeah, it's kind of a lower output round. I think Hill wins it. Bell really isn't landing much, and neither is Hill, to be fair. But Hill did land a bunch of inside leg kicks, while Bell landed a couple high kicks on the arm. You know, maybe a few punches from each guy to the head, not all that much. Hill gets the takedown late, lands a couple of strikes to end the round. I mean, it wasn't the best round of fighting. Neither guy, really tried to put a stamp on it. I'm 10-9 Hill.
I'm 10-9 Hill too. Yeah, a round like this, it's kind of hard to get up in arms if you disagreed, but I do have a harder time seeing much for Bell.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's so low output that it's like, you know what? Maybe there's enough there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we're on the same side. We're on the majority side for Hill. Brandon Saucedo and Wade Vieira were the ones who saw it the same as you and me. Felicia O had it for Bell. But again, I don't think that's crazy. It's just, you know what? You want to win, close fight, take the fight. And neither really did. But yeah, I did like Hill's. I thought Hill especially kind of built a little bit of it wasn't a big lead, but he built a little bit of a lead early, and he just never really gave it up.
Yeah, they were calling those inside leg kicks checked, but I didn't think they were checked. They were just landing good.
Yeah, I thought so too. And then the last round we have here, Enrique Barzola getting the win over Eric Perez. That's 2 UFC veterans on the Bellator prelims here. Unanimous decision, 30-27 twice, and a 29-28. It was round 1 that was split. What'd you think of that?
Yeah, this was a good round. Perez had some really good leg kicks. Barzola had some really good attacks to the head. Barzola was able to win the grappling, land some good ground and pound. I think immediate impact of the head strikes weighed a bit more than what Perez was doing to the legs. Perez did go upstairs a bit, but it just wasn't to the same effect. Very close round. You mix in a couple guillotine attacks from Perez, and, I can understand you scoring it for Perez, but I'm on Barzola 10-9.
Oh, so am I. I had the same way as you. I had the same way as Ron McCarthy and Michael Guingona. It was Elliot Kelly who gave this one to Perez, and yeah, that's all right. I did feel good about my Barzola score though, but that's not to say that you couldn't give it the other way.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. That was our 7 contested rounds across. I didn't count the number of fights, but it was like something like 25 fights or something like that.
Yeah, 13 between the UFC two. And
is it 12 on the other side? I want to say it was 13 12. And 12.
All right,
we'll ballpark it there, but that's across all those fights, 7 rounds. Great job. And that was a result, at least in part, of 6 finishes in the UFC, 6 finish in Bellator. For the UFC, for the 6th straight week, 6th straight UFC event, I should say. There were more submission finishes than strike-based, KO, TKO finishes. It's a remarkable streak at the UFC level. That's you just don't see this. I can't believe it's still going. Technical submissions, inverted reverse triangles,
from
and all
Davey
that stuff.
Grant.
Oh, all people, exactly. 3 of these finishes came in the first round. Bellator side, it was even split, 3 TKO or KO, 3 submission. 5 of these fights ended in the first round, though. So that's the result. We only had 13 rounds scored. It was very over and done very quickly. What was your favorite of these 12 finishes?
Nikita Krylov triangle over Ryan Spann that Ryan put himself into.
Now, you're only saying that because I shottied the other one first.
We
wanted to make sure we got a second shout out here.
I think I would have taken that.
I think everybody would, but
yeah. The Krylov and Spann fight was fantastic for any grappling fan. It was just back and forth sub attacks from both guys.
Really fun round.
And then Spann was like, "We're not going to end it there. I'm throwing myself straight into a triangle." After he finally gets on top, quick tap. So the squeeze was good.
He credited Paul Craig for that, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if it was like he'd been working with him or it was just a shout out, but I know I know there was some sort of tip of the cap to
he
Paul
took
Craig.
It to heart. That saying, it's win or learn.
Yeah.
And he learned from that.
He did.
From Paul Craig.
Yeah, he did.
And now, yeah.
Obviously,
just say it.
Obviously, my favorite finish, and really yours too, was the inverted or reverse or whatever it was, triangle.
Triangle from David Grant.
Yeah, just out of nowhere. Just that's basically the definition of like a Hail Mary. You just throw it up. It's like, let's see. Because it's not like he was setting it up. It just presented itself.
Yeah. Oh, I know there's something there. Let's lock this up.
And I guess Rafael Assunção, because I believe he does the hard R. Rafael Assunção is like, he's good on the ground.
That's what DC said in the first one. He said, "You're not subbing Assunção unless he makes a mistake."
Yeah, well, he made a mistake.
And so
a big one.
There you have it.
And it cost him. But that is it for the weekend. That was a busy weekend on the MMA side. Of course, we were only talking about the major promotions. I think there was an Aries show on Friday as well. All sorts of stuff always going on. But let's move on to next week, where there's no question what the star attraction is next weekend. It's UFC 286 in foggy London town, where they get beans on toast.
Yes.
Beans on toast. On toast. Get it right.
And not
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I goofed. I got scolded for that one. Rightfully so. But yeah, so this is in England. English judges would presume, maybe potentially some coming from America, but I would think it's probably going to be a lot of the UK judges when we have a title fight taking place in the middle of the afternoon, early evening over in the States, 5 p.m. Eastern time, main card start. Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman, number 3 for all the marbles, welterweight title on the line. I'm looking forward to this one.
It's going to be a great one, I think. I think more competitive than the last one.
Why do you think that?
Because every time you hear Kamaru Usman, everyone's talking about all the chronic injuries in his knees. He has to walk upstairs backwards because that's the only way it doesn't hurt. He can't walk on concrete. Like, how do you fight? But then again, he's been dealing with this for years apparently.
And he was going to win that fight if he just didn't get caught.
Right, but he did. Well, he lost round 1, so.
But he was going to win the fight.
He was going to win the fight. He was cruel, yeah. If he doesn't get caught,
the only reason he loses that fight is because of the way he lost the fight. He was already going to win on the cards. He would have won that round on the cards if it wasn't for that.
That's true.
He would have won 49-46 on all the cards.
Yeah, that was. I just think Edwards would be. He's seen him now twice.
Sure.
More recently, this go around,
and he knows he can do it.
And he's got that confident now.
I don't know if he necessarily had the same self belief, but yeah, now he doesn't need to believe. He knows he can do it.
Yeah, it's happened.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's a thing there.
Still Lean Usman though.
Fair enough.
So
I like a lot of these fights, to be honest, on this card. It's a decent main card. I like a lot of the prelims too. Co-main, Justin Gaethje and Rafael Fiziev. That's a fun one.
That's gonna be awesome.
Very excited for that one. Gunnar Nelson, Brian Barberena. I'm not a big Gunnar Nelson guy, but Barberena is always fun.
Barberena's fun, but Gunnar Nelson what he's gonna do. He's gonna try to take him down, try to sub him.
Mm-hmm.
And can Barberena avoid that?
I guess we'll have to wait and
see.
Have
to find out.
But I also like Marvin Vettori and Roman Dolidze. More for Dolidze. I think we've seen a lot of what Marvin Vettori kind of does. And sometimes his fights are actually end up being a lot of fun, but they're not always the most aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, I think Dolidze probably is the reason Dawkins got cut after he kneed him in the head.
He did get cut?
Kyle Dawkins got cut.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I didn't actually hear that news.
But yeah, Dolidze's fun fighter at 185.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they give Bo Nickel the winner of this one. That's what I would do.
No. It's a bad idea. But
just
I
do it.
honestly, I like the prelims, especially Muhammad Makayev.
Yeah, he's fun. I mean,
I don't know much
he
again
hasn't
about
fought in the UFC
Jeff
yet.
Alfilio. Yeah, is he like a
So-
late replacement? I actually didn't get to look
I don't
into
know
that,
if he's a
but
late replacement, but I know
I just saw Makayev on there. I'm like, all right,
yeah,
I'm in.
Well, yeah,
I'm
well,
in. There's a super prospect.
Why wouldn't it be in on Makayev?
I think he's probably the future at 125.
See, that's what I want to see. Makayev versus Jake Hadley if Hadley can get past Gordon.
Malcolm Gordon, yeah, that's
Yeah.
on the card too.
That's why I put it. Hadley had the triangle locked up and he just landed these elbows.
But I like you put
All
this
right.
Hadley fight on, but you didn't put Makayev on.
Because of who he was fighting.
Okay.
I was like, he's just going to run through him.
Sometimes you just
And
want to watch
the
the
thing is,
talent.
Malcolm Gordon was a guy who I was like, this guy just quits. Like he gets punched in the face and finds a way to quit in the fight. And then he
So you
ends
just
up
called him a quitter.
And then he ends up proving me wrong because he beats Figgy's brother. Can't think of his name.
Francesco.
Yeah. And
Is
then
it
he
Francesco or Francisco?
gets
Francesco's the Italian one.
Francisco Figueiredo.
Okay.
And then he beats this other guy by crazy broken arm. And now it's time to fight.
Is that how Buffer announced it?
Crazy
And
broken
winner
arm.
by crazy broken arm.
It was disgusting to look at. I know you're immune to it. You're numb to it.
I'm a lot
That
more
was
numb to
nasty.
it. Yeah. Yeah, because you, by the way, and I think we have to shout this out, by the way, when we talk about finishes. Let's go back a little bit real quick. A lot of MMA Twitter was just barfing all over the place watching Michael Venom Page
I forgot. I did want to mention
obliterate
that.
the kneecap of Goichi Yamauchi.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this. I mean,
Ruptured patella.
watching it live, I missed it. I was like, oh, that's a shame. That's before the fight even gets going. And then I see it in the replays, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, he actually kicked him. But then I saw everybody else was like freaking out over how gross it was. I'm like, is it that gross?
So,
Am I the one who's messed up? Maybe I am.
you are. I mean, what'd you think of when he caved in Cyborg's skull?
That's a very different thing.
Okay.
That
I
hurt
don't
his
know
brain.
what'd you think of that?
That sucked.
But were you like, oh, okay. Or were you more
I
like,
probably was more like,
okay.
oh, okay, yeah. I probably was. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. My mom used to watch like all those like medical dramas on TV,
okay.
right? And I would be in the room. I couldn't look at anything.
Mm.
It wasn't her telling me don't watch. It's like I wouldn't bring myself to look. And I don't know if it's just because I've watched a bunch of fighting or because I've watched movies or a combination thereof. But yeah, I'm like almost completely desensitized to most things except watching a movie where someone's putting a needle in or when I have to get a shot or something.
Oh,
I don't like hypodermic needles. I'm not going to pass out or freak out, but like I tell anybody who's got to give me like a flu shot or whatever, I'm like, listen, I'm not going to be rude, but I'm going to look at my phone and I'm going to just zone into that for like a minute.
So
like, we're all happier. They're like, all right, it's fine. And they're like, oh, you're done. I'm like, good. And we're moving on.
I used to when I got my blood drawn, I'd always watch them do it.
Yeah.
Because it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
Then they had to put an IV in once, and I was watching her do it, and she couldn't find my vein, and she just kept
Just
digging
jabbing
and digging while it's in there, just searching and searching while it's in, and I'm like, all right, I'm getting a little, all right, you gotta come out, I'm getting woozy now.
See, this is what
and they
gets
come
me.
out, and the needle was bent.
Oh my god!
Yo, now every time I get it, I gotta look away and just go with it.
Dude,
So-
no, I'm not about that life. I'll show me Yamauchi's knee busting up like 10 times over. What? Just give me a marathon of that. I mean, not that I want people's knees to be destroyed. Like I wish, just like MVP, I wish all the best to Yamauchi in recovery because that looks like a crappy way to get hurt. I'm just saying, it didn't really move my needle in the same way an actual needle would move me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Like that play on words, that was good.
Yeah.
I just
do.
that just came out of nowhere.
Nice.
I'm a writer.
Jafel Filio is a contender series winner.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's why I
So,
don't know him. That would explain it.
Also, a fight we forgot here. Jack Shore is fighting, coming off his loss
Jack
from
Shore's
Ricky
good.
Simone. Again, he's fighting Makwan Americani.
That was
So-
was that the one in Long Island?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
that's where like everyone was like, "Oh, Jack Shore, Jack Shore, Jack Shore," and then Ricky Simone was like, "No, don't
Ricky
don't
Simone,
count
Ricky
me
Simone,
out."
Ricky Simone,
Yeah. So what's gonna happen?
Mm-hmm. Now, right on.
I was on that Jack Shore train. So
Well, sometimes they need, trains need maintenance.
yeah, right.
These things happen.
They've been derailing quite often lately.
I've watched Thomas the Tank Engine before, and I know that they have to go into the station, and sometimes they get worked on and that kind of thing.
They're not always nice to Thomas.
Honestly, that show is full of just a bunch of like jerk trains. They're none of them are nice. Like Thomas sometimes is okay, but like most of them are just terrible. I would say people, but they're trains. They're terrible trains. One more fight I wanted to shout out to was Jennifer Maia and Casey O'Neill in particular.
Yeah.
This fight. But this is a big fight for O'Neill. Maia is obviously up there in the rankings at 125. And this is kind of O'Neill's coming off an injury too. But if she wins, I mean, she gets into that mix of a bunch. Women's flyweight overnight went from like, all right, who's going to be next up for, Valentina Shevchenko? To a degree, we were starting to get a little excited about, people like Manon Fiorot. And
I think you said it was going to be a good division eventually.
I've always said that. Yes, I absolutely have. I've been saying that since before the UFC even had it.
Okay.
Back when Jennifer Maia was the champion of Invicta. She was essentially the number 125er in the world. Way back then, I was like, okay, eventually they're going to have it, and you're going to get like Valentino come down, and you'll get 115ers that are come up.
Mm-hmm.
This is the beginning of the fulfillment of the prophecy that I always saw coming. But Casey O'Neill would be more of that new blood, whereas Jennifer Maia has been around quite a while now. So can she get over that hurdle? I'm curious to see. I like this. I like these
coming
fights.
back, torn ACL.
Yeah.
So let's see how she responds from that.
Yeah. Well, Connor bounced back from it well.
I guess he did. He won the belt a couple times, right?
Yeah.
Two
bounced
division
back. He bounced back all right.
He won the fight though, didn't he? Win the fight that he tore his ACL.
He did. Yeah. He out-wrestled Max Holloway. That was the fight he beat Max Holloway, and still owes him a rematch.
He does.
At 185 or whatever it is now. Yeah.
All right, that does it for this episode. We'll be back again next Monday.
Yeah. You seem confused, sir.
Well, we were debating.
But the fact that this card happens early in the day, we could probably record on Saturday.
We should have mentioned that. It's a 5 p.m. main card.
I thought I said that.
You might have. I forgot. Maybe.
I think I did.
Okay.
5 p.m. Eastern time. Take care, everybody.